Hey everybody, Beta Squad saw two challenges we wanted to address. First, the ability to fill vacancies with qualified individuals quickly. OPM says that from the day a valid hiring need is identified to the day the new employee starts should be 80 days. But according to Federal News Radio, the average time to hire in 2017 was 106 days. The second challenge we wanted to address was hiring veterans. Veterans are highly skilled individuals who are eligible for special direct hire authorities. However, most hiring managers either don't know about these authorities or don't know how to find qualified veterans. It seemed clear the answer to these challenges was bringing them together. Our initial idea was to create a searchable database where veterans could load their resumes. We targeted Treasury as our pilot because our project's chief sponsor is the Chief Human Capital Officer there. The project was met with enthusiasm, and we began the process of securing funding and procuring the solution. After some discussions with IT experts, we learned it would be faster, less expensive, and more effective to utilize similar tools already in place. Further research showed us there were companies with large databases of resumes available for search by employers, including Monster, which has 59 million active resumes. Besides having a large pool of resumes, the Monster.gov solution provided powerful search capabilities. Once we had a viable product, we held demonstrations with executives in charge of the hiring at the Department of Treasury. Beta Squad realized that this good idea could not be dependent on an IT solution or scarce budget resources. We went back to brainstorming and realized we could make an impact by educating hiring managers on the benefits of hiring veterans and the direct hiring authorities in place that make it easy. Our research into information currently available to managers, including annual mandatory training, revealed it was inconsistently applied, highly technical, complex, and mind-numbing. It was clear managers were not going to walk away with either the enthusiasm or the knowledge necessary to hire veterans. To combat this, we developed a series of fact sheets and videos that are engaging, easy to understand, and transferable to any agency. To date, Beta Squad has secured support for the application, including orders for licenses from 2 Treasury bureaus with accompanying funding. We have a contract vehicle in place and are the contracting officers working on issuing the task order as we speak. We have also been asked to give another demonstration for a group of human resource officers from other Treasury bureaus, and the department's Chief Human Capital Officer has included the initiative as part of his office's goals for financial year 19. We have created 3 videos that you will see in the coming minutes to increase awareness of the initiative and the hiring authorities available. With little editing, they can be made applicable to any agency. We also created a set of fact sheets that make veteran hiring easy to understand. In the future, we look forward to seeing the tool in action at Treasury. It will be different from our original vision. Treasury will provide the search capability to their HR specialists rather than the hiring managers. While this isn't exactly what we had in mind, we believe the partnership between the 2 parties will still meet the goals of the project. Our team is already sharing the initiative, videos, and printed materials adopted by Treasury with other agencies. Thank you. The importance of meeting people where they are and being open to different ways of achieving the desired outcome, and that my desired outcome may not be the right one.
I learned that I don't have to change who I am to be a good leader. I learned that all the things that I value, like integrity and accountability and wanting to learn more and being a good person and a good cat mom, are all good values to being a leader. We all bring our individual gifts. Apparently I bring a lot of furry ones. But what I need to do, instead of trying to be someone else, is to give myself credit for what I do really well and to strive to do it better and better. Or as the leader I admire most always says, our goal is daily incremental improvement.
I've learned a lot about what it is to work on a team and as an individual. I've learned, for instance, how important it is for values and accountability and results to all to go together. It's difficult to get any one of those without being able to rely on and reinforced by the other two. I've also learned how important it is to approach situations with a grateful attitude. It's just a better, a more pleasant way to live, and it's also more useful. More pleasant because it's an excuse to not take myself so seriously and to experience joy. That's apparently something that I need to be reminded of. It's also more resilient. It's a better way to be. None of us get really any guarantees.
I learned that by working in a team, you get more accomplished and you have a greater pool of ideas for projects and different things that you may want to do.
So through this project, I've learned that teamwork can be very hard, but also very rewarding. It takes effort to get people to buy into your ideas. And to do that, first you have to see things from their perspective, find out what lessons they've learned through the experiences they've had, and find out what really motivates them. Only then can you really provide leadership or work well as a team.
So through the Results Project, I learned that it was important to actively engage everyone in the planning phases of the project. I think I fell short with engaging people that were on the team, and people have different personalities, strengths, and weaknesses. So the team forming, storming, and norming phases were really important to the team dynamics. And these will be areas that I focus on when I work with others and work with other teams.
One of the difficult tasks of leadership is to build consensus and reach a compromise that reflects the values and synergy of the team. I use the word synergy because it reminds me that the whole, or team, is always greater than the sum of its parts, or individual team members. An effective leader must clearly present all sides to an argument or a situation, and do so while allowing everyone's voice to be heard. If a team member is silent or detached, the leader should use his or her leadership skills to draw the individual out and facilitate a contribution. Not doing so or moving forward without the whole almost always results in a loss of trust and credibility that may eventually impact the team's focus and ultimately its success.
Two things were challenging. Working with people largely via the phone was difficult. I am much more comfortable and skilled at moving things forward and keeping things on track when everyone is together. And working on a project in a field I am familiar with but not a subject matter in was hard. It turns out I am not comfortable when I don't know everything I think I might need to know about a subject.
Interacting with people I don't know or don't know very well is incredibly stressful to me. We did a lot of exercises where I had to go up to people and start a conversation and ask them to tell me their story and ask them to listen to mine. It's a really important skill, so I made learning to reach out and network with people part of my individual development plan, but it's still not something I'm very comfortable with. I'm still working on it, and I think it's going to be something that I deal with for the rest of my life. But luckily, the cat likes me. The other part was being an introvert. The sessions were very intense, and at the end of either the 3 or 4 days, whatever the sessions were, I was completely drained. It was exhausting. So those were the hardest parts. And it really didn't matter that the company I was with was awesome or the material was fascinating. It was just exhausting.
The most challenging aspect for me, I think, involved one or a handful of high-risk or awkward situations. And it would have been easy to say, well, I'm just going to sit this one out. There's no need to pursue this to the nth degree. There's no reason to put myself out there. And in the particular situation I'm thinking of, when I felt the fear, when I did it anyway, I think that actually wound up those situations like it, they wind up being, if anything, the more impactful kinds of decisions that I've made.
Just finding time to set aside for, just to do my work and my reading and a break away from meetings and just trying to do your job while participating in the program.
As to what I've learned about myself, is that I have good ideas to offer and I shouldn't hold back on them, but also that in leadership you can't take shortcuts. The most challenging part for me personally was reaching out and sort of cold calling our potential stakeholders. I had to find a way to do this that was comfortable for me.
So one of the challenges with the Results Project was working remotely. I think it was difficult to make assignments and participate on teleconferences because when your day job kind of takes over your day, the teleconferences were the easiest thing on the calendar to skip. And being accountable for participation and contributing to the project was really challenging when everyone was working remotely as a team.
Being courageous, but I won't refer to it as challenging. I say this because sometimes we choose to remain silent. We remain silent because speaking up and being heard during a verbal disagreement may impact team synergy. Nevertheless, we should always ask ourselves if we have the courage to stand up for what we believe in and speak truth to it. We can do this by voicing our opinion when it runs contrary to that of the majority. If we choose to remain quiet when we should speak up, we become invisible. Courageous leadership is about stepping into the unknown, making ourselves known, and giving an opinion we genuinely believe in because it's the right thing to do. It is called being seen and having a voice. When we choose to remain silent, we become invisible to ourselves and everyone around us.
I will continue to work on being adaptable and recognizing what people bring to the table and embrace that they may deliver it or interact with people differently than I would. Working with a team of people completely different from me in background and professional experience was fun, so I will continue to seek out opportunities to work with people in other fields.
Well, we've learned a lot this year. And over the last year, I walked the accountability pathway to the balcony where I sat with my problem. And while I was there, I wondered, is it the elephant or the rider that vexes me so? I considered having a difficult conversation with them both in hopes of getting to yes, but then I thought if I ever want to move from good to great, I might have to make a switch. I pondered the art of possibility, knowing people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. And if I knew why I do it, I would be able to build coalitions, inspire change, and manage adversity with a risk-based approach. All this in search of my mission statement. After many versions and revisions, at this point in time, and subject to change, my mission is to be a student and a teacher, an appreciator and a dreamer, and to always use my superpowers for good. Say bye.
What I'll carry with me as a leader going forward is the importance of finding that authenticity, finding my own voice. I've always known that I like to talk. Now all of you know that too. And for me, this is about giving other people a reason to listen. And of course, that's useful so that I can go on talking. But I think that it's also going to be better for everybody around me also.
I think what I learned the most is it's important to listen to individuals and groups, and really consider people's opinions and ideas. Your way is not always the right way, and by listening and developing that skill, I think that makes you a better leader.
So going forward as a leader, I will apply the knowledge I have of my strengths and the areas that are more of a challenge for me, and I'll also take with me the lessons that I've learned interacting with the various personalities and viewpoints of all the wonderful people on my team.
Something I'll work on in the future as a leader would be to try and reach mutual and obvious understanding with others. I think that involves actively engaging others in the discussion and making sure that there's consensus and buy-in and alignment with everyone that's involved. I've got a lot to learn in that area in order to figure out how to do that effectively.
Well, my focus will be on improving my networking skill. It is essential to advancing my career and advancing the organizational mission. By creating a vast and varied network of people, I can establish impactful relationships with customers, clients, partners, and other stakeholders.